The ultimate mashup of Marvel Comics and the NFL is 1991's Super Pro, a book that nobody loves except for my guest today, Sam J Royale. Passion is super infectious, and he's very passionate about this book. So come and join me, and let's get infected together. Welcome to Chris Anderson Comics. All right, so I always love doing these like comic book gene pool episodes because you never know what you're going to get. But when I asked you, Sam, at IC3, we kind of you were going to rack your brain for a second thinking about it, and I couldn't believe you had to even think, because anybody who knows you knows your love for Super Pro.
Yeah,
This,
my
like,
inexplicable love for Super Pro.
Yeah, this like obscure like 1990, this Joe Jusko cover for this special edition was painted. I remember this when it came out.
Oh, do you really?
And I remember going like, who the hell is going to buy this?
And I still don't have an answer because I didn't buy my copy. I got it for free. So it was
so nobody.
Yeah, I mean, well, so apparently one of my sister's teachers, because they had like some kind of contest in school, and this one is a different issue. But this Super Pro #1 was the prize.
Right.
This is the copy I've had my whole life. It's held together with tape. And my sister was like, "I don't want this," and so she gave it to me, and I loved it. I thought it was the best thing ever. But I don't know anyone else who shares that passion for the character.
Was this your first comic?
It was not my first comic, but it was my first Spider-Man comic for sure. Where he's guest starring here, you know, to sell a few more copies. But yeah, it was one of my first, maybe first three. So it's definitely one of the early ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super weird. It was like, well, I'm not going to say it's super weird. It's actually, when you read it, it's, aside from the football jargon and things that are thrown in there, he's basically just your standard run-of-the-mill kind of superhero. But so what attracted you to him besides Spider-Man being in the first appearance?
It was there. Like I didn't have any comics, and so like I just would read the same like 5 or 10 I had over and over again. And this was one of them. I don't know, the camera's not going to pick it up, but there's all these indentations all over this because I would put tracing paper on top of it and just trace the hell out of this Ron Friends cover. And I really I got into it. And it was like I never liked sports, still don't. And so that made it all the more baffling. But yeah, I thought like, well, this is like as close as I'll get to liking sports. Maybe this will be the way I'll get interested in sports. Like I actively tried to care about football, but it just didn't take. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, it's really just because it was there. And then as I got older, I just liked it because it was so silly. And, and then like, as YouTube became a thing and people, had comic themed channels and started making videos, kind of making fun of the character, I just decided to go the other way and really latch onto what's really good about him and just sing his praises every opportunity I can.
I love it. I love it. So so as we just said, this issue isn't the one that was the first one that you got. You got actually Super Pro #1. This is special edition #1. I tried to get
the show.
Yeah. I tried to get Super Pro #1, but it was like $100.
It's probably my wife trying to sell my copy.
Right. Like, I wonder why. It was like I was like, is it because of the mashup of the NFL and it's like got a huge audience with the NFL and then also Marvel Comics, but nobody knows about it. It's maybe because it's the first appearance of the character or something, because this came later. This is the issue where they kind of tell you about how. Oh yeah.
And collector's item and 50 years of Captain America. So this is like, that speculator boom. Yeah, I think whoever's trying to sell this for $100 on eBay probably just never realized that bubble burst a couple decades ago.
There's more than one. Like I couldn't. There were several copies available. I could not find one.
That's amazing.
That was like, maybe it wasn't 100, but it was not like, I wasn't gonna buy it. Let's just put it like that.
That's fair. I mean, who'd want it? But
the special edition, that I was able to find.
But you said so you must have done your homework. This special edition came out after the one I had, or did it come out before? Because I'm not sure which came first, to be honest.
I am not exactly sure either. However, I would imagine that the special edition came after, because the awesome origin issue. So all
right. What I would
presenting the awesome origin issue. So
see, my copy doesn't say that.
I'm very confused now. Yeah, and yours is a different version. So
also the signature year, the Joe Jusko signature says 1990, and then this one is like 91, I think. So that makes me think this came first, then they repackaged it for the one you have, and that must have come out after. This had to have come first, because this is one of the many things that really had me scratching my head about this. Was there's just one page summarizing his origin, where he's brushing his teeth in front of the mirror and thinking about how he got his superpowers.
Oh my God.
And so, like, I never knew his origin until I think 2 years ago.
Jesus, that's really funny. And you just got the special edition 2 years ago?
Well, no, I just got this special for this show. I read it online, but
oh my God. Glad I could facilitate.
Yeah, so like basically for me, it's like growing up, this was like the Bible, and then and that was for like childhood to adulthood, and then all of a sudden I find out, oh, that's just the New Testament, and there was this whole other Old Testament that came first, and so it's really a trip to dive into it finally.
That's amazing. So let's go through this. Let's go through this issue. So this is let's see here. All right. So Fabian Nicieza. I never know how to say his name.
I'm not sure. I thought it's Nicieza, but I have no idea, to be totally honest.
Right. So he wrote it, and then Jose Delbo penciled chapters 1 and 3, and then Bob Hall penciled chapter 2, and then you got a whole slew of people inking it.
Yeah. And I don't know if you ever heard the backstory at all, but apparently Fabian Nicieza, like I've heard conflicting stories here. One story was he did it for season tickets for the Jets, and so he never cared that it was like this kind of silly joke of a book, because that's what he really wanted to get out of it anyway. And I also heard that he just did it in exchange for tickets for one game. I'm not sure which is true. But either way, it's kind of funny how that works out. And again, going to the dates, we're looking at all these artists here, Jose Delbo. And so I don't know who even designed Super Pro, because the Jusko painting is 1990. Delbo did some of the pages. Delbo, I think, did issue 1 as well. Yeah, he did issue 1 too. And then Ron Frenz did the cover for issue 1. So it's all over the place. Or no, actually, it's Ramita and Frenz. And Sinnott for the cover.
Interesting.
Jeez.
Wow. So Ramita would have been Ramita at the time. I wonder if he's still the art director.
Maybe.
And if that's the case, he could have been the designer of it. I guess that's something that we could probably look up, but we're on a live show here. So
well, I've tried looking up some things about Super Pro's origin, and I didn't really get too much luck with it.
Well, this came out in 91 also, so I imagine that. So what's the year on the special edition that you have?
Well, the cover is 1990, and then we even have 91, March 91.
Okay, so everything is coming out in 91. So all right,
so I don't know what they did.
This is September of 91.
Oh, okay, so that did come later then. All right. Now we know.
Okay. Wow. All right. We're getting really into the weeds with this, man. Like way more into the weeds than we should be. So it starts out sort of like every other like a superhero book where some guys are like stealing some stuff, and so they're like stealing chemicals, like, or they're moving things that you don't know what could be in these boxes. Like, it could blow up in your face, could be chemicals. Hey, dude, on you that'd only be an improvement.
I love that. I made note of that dialogue. I like that they open in New Jersey instead of Marvel's Manhattan too.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's just something different. It's just another thing to make Super Pro that much lesser than everything else in the Marvel universe. Like, you don't get to be in Manhattan like all the other ones.
You're in Newark.
No. Yeah, right.
Oh my God. The lift that drops you, chapter 1. So here he is in this super heroic thing. So it looks like they really made sure that they got this NFL logo right every single time that they did it.
Well, often you'll see it like just flat and not conforming to the curve of the helmet or something, where it's like they probably just Xeroxed it, cut it out, and pasted it on. But it's interesting. He's got it on the chest and the forehead.
Yeah. So he starts running at him, and they're like, "Who does this guy think he is? Super football man?"
What I like about that is I wonder if Super Football Man was one of the names they were throwing around.
It's not that far off.
It's really not.
You can call me Super Pro. Like, that's not
right. And what's interesting to me also is like they make it clear they don't know who he is. He's not an established hero yet. And that comes up again a few times. But then some people are very familiar with him, we'll find. And so I don't know why it's hit or miss. No one's indifferent to Super Pro. They either have no idea who he is or they know everything about him.
So he's like, he's taking these guys out, and the cops come. And like, they're just totally cool with it. They're they seem like they're totally fine with it. Like, "Hey, buddy, a little early for Halloween, isn't it? Could be, officer, but the tricks these punks were playing could amount to some pretty mean treats." In English, please.
Yeah.
So, they're just, and the gun is drawn. Like,
I just like that the cop is making fun of the way he talks.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And so now you'll see that third panel. How high do you think Super Pro jumped there?
I don't know.
It looks like he ricocheted off of one roof and then went up to a third floor. So you can jump 2 stories maybe.
So it's totally. And it's I guess the suit is powering him to be able to do that. And it's full of these terrible football analogies, "But this little play from scrimmage didn't gain me much yardage. So arrivederci," and he's out of here. Like, what? So he's after the steroid production.
Yeah. There's a drug ring. Uh-huh.
Right. And so he gets into his shitty little hatchback.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that they never really, we'll get to his origin in a few more pages, but they never really make it clear what his powers are, or if it's him with powers or the suit or both. And then on top of that, vertical leap isn't really a football thing. So
no, it sure isn't.
It's weird that that's the first thing they show him do.
Yeah, it's funny. They do talk about it a little bit, what his thing is, but it's in a line later where he talks about what he wished he had instead of the powers that he has.
Oh, I missed that. You read this more close than I did.
I did my research. Yeah. So here he's meeting the girl that he's dating. Man, they really painted her up for
the coloring is questionable there. They do it again in the back of the
decade.
Right. But also it's she's just copied and pasted Lois Lane, more or less.
1,000%.
She's a reporter, the dark-haired love interest, and she's also she knows her guy has a secret and she wants to know what it is, and he's always late and straightening his tie.
Yeah, but she's also totally cool with it. So
yeah, she's waiting 40 minutes and is fine.
Yeah. So here we go to Giant Stadium. So this cameraman is
Ken Reed.
What's that?
His name is Ken Reed, and he's got
Ken Reed. Okay.
stripes shaved into the sides of his head.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it should have been a bat symbol, but it's
Yeah.
Marvel Comics, so we wanted to get 1991 right. It says, the smell of sweat on AstroTurf, the sound of beef slapping at each other through plastic and tape. Whoa, dude.
It's poetry.
Oh, man. Yeah, it got pretty homoerotic pretty quick there.
Oh yeah, and not the last time, but they introduce this character Ron Macedon.
Yeah.
And so like I thought maybe like because I don't know anything about sports, so I like was checking everything, like all the names and stuff, and was like, was that like a real player? It's not. And they give him a lot of play here for no real reason, as far as I can tell, unless he factors into the series later. But they make it seem like they're introducing a real player, and they're not. And they allude to Phil. Oh, so we should say Super Pro is Phil Grayfield in his civilian identity, and he only played one game, which bothers me because like they say, like some of the covers say like he went from football hero to superhero, and like, are you really a football hero if you played one game?
Well, maybe to his parents. They're really proud of him.
That'd be a really great future story. His parents telling him what a hero he is.
He was a college
that's true.
wonderkin.
Yes.
I thought this line was really fucked up too, though. So has Ditka been any easier since the heart attack? Didn't think so. Mike Ditka was the coach of the Bears, was a real person. Like easy, baby. Like, what if you like ouch.
And what's so crazy about that is I'm sure this was very tightly controlled. I'm sure there was a lot of red tape. They had to get a lot of people to sign off on this. And so like that got through. Someone was just like, screw it.
Yeah, the hell with Ditka. Screw that guy. He must have been on the outs with the league at the time or something.
I guess.
But we learned that he's a reporter now, so
yes.
And so they're sort of he's covering the Bears here. And so they're watching this rookie who's like just massive, this big, huge guy. And
Carl Benning.
Yeah.
On steroids.
And as they're loading back into Sports Inside the news van, they kind of see him going off on this guy trying to sell him some drugs. This guy looks very much, he's got glasses and gray hair, so he's just not a common street thug.
He's a scientist.
Guy?
Well, he's I think they said a professor later.
Yes.
As I followed him.
Yeah. So he gets in his, sports car and speeds off. Meanwhile, they're like, they smell a scoop here.
That's right.
So they're off to Newark. It was funny because they're watching a Bears practice. There's no sign of the Jets anywhere. Oh, they're at Giants Stadium. So I guess the Bears are practicing before a Giants game. Okay.
But in general, they do, throughout this book, they jump locations a lot, and it seems kind of unnecessary. And the only reason I can think of to do it is maybe the NFL was like, we don't want Super Pro tied too closely with any one location or one team. So we're going to, because he has to represent all of the NFL, And so I imagine that was some note that Fabian got when working on the script.
Well, we do learn that he played for the Eagles, and then he was drafted to the Bears.
Yes.
So they follow this guy, and they're just trying to nonchalantly walk in and talk to this guy. This drawing of this building distracted the heck out of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's just
because it looks like a crossword.
And it's just really poorly done. But then I love this. This just shows you the times. These computers that.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Read. I'm sorry. Because the previous page, he's got two giant monitors on his hotel bed.
Yeah.
All these
he's got two. He's got like two Apple IIe's sitting on his bed and this huge keyboard. And then like actual graphics of people. Now, I remember this time period, there was a computer like showroom next to the comic shop that I worked at. And there was like, I remember being amazed by this very, very pixelated picture of a mandrill on it. It was supposed to show you how colorful this new color computer screen was, because everything before that was like green, right? And there, you know, and it was still like a drawing of a mandrill, but like, and still pixelated, but like this is a very high-tech computer for 1991.
And not only that, he's in a Sheraton hotel room, so he had to like request to get this internet hookup. So
what internet? Was there an internet in 1991? I don't recall there being one.
I don't know, but he got it, unless he just has this database on his computer at all times, like with everybody on there. Like, how would he have this random professor on there if there's no internet?
So weird. So are they like predicting a couple years in the future here? Like, I don't remember.
This is one of the many reasons
I just remember the first time I ever like used it was like probably like 94 or 5. So it was coming, but it wasn't ready yet.
It definitely wasn't widely available, even if it existed. So
yeah, but he's hacked into some sort of database somehow. I found that really fascinating. So okay, so he's leaping all over the place.
Yeah, I made note of that too. More vertical leap. He cleared a fence.
Yeah, and he's like up in the rafters, you know, sneaking around. I don't remember.
Which is also funny, like him in those bright colors, trying to hide in the rafters, and then he jumps down. And the way they draw it with all those like motion lines and everything, he seems very like clumsy and hard hitting. Like he's not like a stealthy guy. He's a Kool-Aid man who busts through the wall, you know? So it's like, it's funny to see him try to be like a Batman out of nowhere.
Yeah. Look at the way he's falling here. Like, when he lands, he's going to break his ankle, first of all, you know? And then his face is
like his legs haven't taken enough damage.
Yeah. And so he gets in here and goes, nothing listed here under illegal steroid compounds. What a surprise. No evidence. No chance of nailing this down right here and right now. But then again, since I'm technically here illegally, it won't stand in court anyway. There's other ways of finding proof, though. Then what the hell are you even doing there?
It's just filler. And like, I love that he's just like searching like, oh, all my illegal shit. And like, oh, no results. Wonder why.
Nothing says illegal compounds. And that's what he even typed in. Open illegal steroid compound search enabled. No such file found.
Yeah, he thought that would be the exact file name.
Nobody knew how to search the internet yet.
That's true.
And then, you know, after all of that,
well, I think this page is one of the most important in the whole book.
This one here?
On the left, yeah, because Ken Reed reveals to Phil Grayfield that he knows he's Super Pro. So in the beginning, we had those thugs who didn't know who Super Pro was, and Ken Reed not only figured it out, but figured it out by studying his lips, his jawline, and his finger. So that means that there's like a photo of Super Pro with a slightly bent finger. And it's that detailed that he could like make out like, oh, that's a specific injury that Phil Grayfield has. And also like, so Grayfield, we're about to get to his origin and see exactly how bad his luck is and has been throughout his whole life. But like Batman's running around with like this and nobody figures it out, even though he's like a celebrity. And Grayfield, it's like either nobody knows him or they figure it out right away. Like he's been a superhero for 5 minutes and this guy recognized him from his jawline.
Look, civilians are just dumber in the DC universe. That's just the way it is. I guess so. So chapter 2, we go, the field of dreams and nightmares.
And here's where we have the art shift because another artist took over for chapter 2 so they could get both chapters done at the same time, I'm sure. And
so he's a linebacker. Yeah, he's an All-American linebacker at Notre Dame. He led the team. And he was a number 1 draft pick to the Eagles.
Right.
And they said that he was the final piece of the puzzle for their Super Bowl championship for Philadelphia. A few months later, Jane and I graduated with academic honors. So he had a few months yet before he had to go and be a football man to,
right,
graduate.
And I thought it was a nice touch that they went to school together, him and his Lois Lane knockoff. Yeah.
Totally. So he's like on the practice field and, doing a routine thing that he does all the time and just lands weird and he hears this crunch. You always hear like football players talk about the sound that their body makes and they know that it's not right. And so they said he's out for the season. Like he tore something in his leg.
And then it says he comes back and it's for an exhibition game. And I don't know enough about sports to know, but like, does that mean the game doesn't even count?
Right. It's like, exactly. That's what it is. So it's like a preseason game. It's like they're just showing, it doesn't count.
So he's out for a year. And then he's training like crazy to rehabilitate.
Yeah.
And then he's back and his first game doesn't count. And then he snaps his femur and he's out for the season again.
Yes. And then in the meantime, Philly's like, he snaps his femur, right? And then Philly's like, well, you suck. You keep breaking yourself. We're trading you. So they trade him to the Bears.
Right.
And he meets this, there's this kid and, his new teammate here.
Ron. Yep. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Father and son, Ron and Jeremy. Ron Jeremy. I don't know if that's on purpose, but I found it funny.
Could have been. The internet was sounds like the internet was possibly just getting going.
And he survived a whole week of training camp with the Bears. Yeah. So that's like the biggest run he's had in his NFL career.
Was this first injury, was it during a game? No, it was during a practice.
Yeah. First one was training camp. Then the second one was an exhibition game. And now he's in training camp with the Bears.
For the first time in over 2 years, I was doing what I always wanted to do, playing pro football. Well, it sounds like had a great first week at camp. The vets, the rookies, the coaches, they're all impressed. So it doesn't sound like he's even played a game.
No, he hasn't.
and then this kid is, what's that?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You're about to talk about the kid. I think we're about to hit on the same thing, but.
Oh yeah. This kid is clowning around on these bleachers and goes to, and like slips on a can of like beer or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to point out that he's drawn like a tiny adult.
Yes. You know what? Some people just don't know how to draw kids.
It's hard and there's deadlines. I just thought it was worth noting because it's distracting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he slips and falls, and then Phil Grayfield leaps into action and takes the hit and saves the kid. Yeah. But hold on, is it the same doctor breaking the news to him every time? Because
no, I don't think so.
It's not. No, okay.
Well, God, I don't know. All doctors look the same apparently. The first one doesn't have a mustache. The next one does have a mustache, but his I don't know if he's bald because his hair's cut off. And the next one, yeah.
Okay. But I just think it's
doctors.
I just think it's funny that he's holding up the x-ray in front of him. Like they all did this. They all held the x-ray up in front of him and they have like a worried look on their face. Like they've explained it to him 5 times and he just didn't get it. It's like, look, leg break bad. Phil, this is not good.
So he's out for good now.
Yes. And Ron Macedon feels really guilty, and so does Jeremy. And so Ron hooks him up with the sports reporting job. And
his double major comes into play of journalism and criminal justice.
They really hit that home. He's very qualified to be a journalist and a superhero. And I thought this was an actual, genuine, good moment from Phil/Super Pro where he like word for word he says the loss for every dream I had, and then he's talking about how I'd make the same choice I made every time with regards to saving Jeremy, and it's like,
Right.
that's really saying something. Like, that's got to suck. His whole life was like building up to playing football, and it just kept getting taken away from him, and he's still like, well, whatever, kid's more important.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
He is.
So he gets the scoop on being able to go to this elusive and reclusive sports memorabilia collector that nobody knows where he lives. Nobody knows.
Right.
But he got the inside scoop, and he's going to go over there and talk to him because he thinks, maybe people would like to hear his side of things.
It's like, what's the story here? He's just going to show off his football collection? Like, how's that a story? But the guy's name, the reclusive collector, is Rudy Custer. And that's some sports trivia, because that was Rudy Custer in real life was the business manager for the Chicago Bears for 38 years. And he passed away in his 90s, but he was alive at the time this was made. And so I'm assuming they drew it to look like him. I didn't Google enough to find out, but I just thought that was interesting that they shoehorned in this real guy, but instead of making him be himself, he's this weird billionaire inventor, sports memorabilia collector.
Yeah. By trade, he's an inventor. Yeah.
Right. And I also thought it was interesting that he's in his own home and wearing an NFL hat and NFL jacket.
Yes, he loves the NFL, just like, So he built this prototype. It's the Super Pro uniform, the football uniform of the future. I invented it in the 70s, made out of fiberglass and plastic alloy. Would have been the best.
You can't even say without laughing out loud. It's the suit. It's the suit of the future, and it's using technology from 20 years ago.
Yeah. At the time of this thing, right? Bullets bounce off of this sucker, for crying out loud. It's incredible.
Why?
What happened to it?
Yeah, why do you need a bulletproof suit?
It has to be individually molded to the player, and the plastic compounds. There's only some of it left, and it costs a lot of money. And this costs 5 million smackaroos just to make this one suit. So each team would have to end up spending a fortune on uniforms alone.
5 million smackaroonies.
Smackaroonies, yep. And then kaplam.
But I got a question though. Before the kaplam, do you think this suit enhances the wearer's abilities in any way?
I mean, why would it? I think it sounds like it's just for protection. It doesn't say anything about the abilities. But wait until like a page or three here, and we can have this discussion again. Okay. So I think that this is just a regular old suit that like, bullets bounce off. It's super safe, and you can fall off the rafters and twist your knee, and you're going to be fine. So that's what the suit does. No concussions. So these guys break in, and you see like all these like, science-y tubes because
he's an inventor.
Chemistry. Right. And they tie him up with like selenoid film. Yeah. Which is notorious for burning, as we saw at the end of like Inglourious Bastards, right? Or anything like that. Like it burns really easily.
It's also worth
and then they pour what?
Sorry, it's worth noting that these criminals didn't just happen to bust in. They have spies with the sports channel and found out that Phil Grayfield was going to go to this reclusive inventor collector's house. And so they followed him there. And so Phil's the reason they're there in the first place.
Yeah.
All his fault.
He done screwed up. Right. And instead of just shooting him, because they don't want to leave any, witnesses, instead of just shooting him, they tie him up with film.
Yes.
Because that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm. Tie him up with film and light the place on fire. Which.
Right. And so this is horrifying.
It is.
But something inside me, the same thing that made me come back again and again, made me found a way to live. While I thrashed around trying to get out of my bindings, I accidentally kicked down the vat of experimental plastics. Oh my God. And it spilled over me, burning hot. I screamed. Then the overhead.
Not one burn on him.
No, extinguishers. Man, they turned on. And he was drenched in chemical foam, gasoline, plastic, and chemicals from the old films. What the hell?
So he got covered in burning plastic, and somehow that gave him superpowers, and it inexplicably molded the Super Pro suit to him.
Oh yeah, when it
his body, because he's wearing it all of a sudden,
like the suit just like binded itself to him. I remember feeling as if I were burning alive one second, then not feeling anything the next except anger and pride. And the feeling that I had a surefire way to fight back against the kind of people that just attacked me. My guess now, going back to that thing, is that it wasn't a super suit until all of these chemicals mixed together.
Oh, interesting.
It burned and bound to his skin, even though it didn't physically harm him. Maybe he's even made of plastic now. Like, I don't know. Like, who knows? But man,
wait, do you think his suit's alive?
I don't know, but all of a sudden, like, it's just a football suit. Like, if everybody on the field was wearing this thing and you can rip the doors off of stuff, like, you'd be knocking people like out of the stadium.
But also, or, like, it does enhance your ability. And then the bad guys got away in a van, and he caught up to them. So he's got super speed, right? Like, he's got vertical leap, he's got super speed, and he can like land from really high up without killing his knees or breaking his feet. I
mean, yeah. Why doesn't he just go like try to play football again?
Because he's, I don't know. I think people would notice his suit wasn't really the standard issue.
Look how great this chapter title is. Better Dying Through Chemistry.
That's pretty good.
Stupid. Tick, 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 click, click, clack, clack, clack. All right, so they're taking a look at this guy. Look at him. Look at what he looked like when he was in high school. And then look what he looked like in college. Yeah. And then look what he looked like. He started, like, you'd have to lift a heck of a lot of weights to get to this point so quickly. And now look, now check out this rookie bubblegum card. Notice the brow, the jaws, the cheeks. Oh my God, there's no other explanation. It couldn't be testosterone and weights. There's got to be something going on here. But you'll notice acne is also something. Yeah. This guy's roiding up, folks.
It's interesting that it's Ken Reed who notices all this again. He notices Phil Grayfield's jawline. He notices this guy's cheekbones. He's really paying attention to everybody's face.
Yeah, he's really astute. And all from the comfort of his bed that is sagging in with giant computers.
I love the idea of those two just sitting next to each other on this queen bed in the hotel on the computer together, just doing their research on this archaic internet.
Yeah. Like the weight of them just like smashes these computers together. Oh my God. So crazy. And they were like riding this guy hard. Like, all right, get him tested if you want it, if you think he's on roids. What are you doing?
And these are the fastest acting roids ever. This is like some new steroid. Oh yeah. Like, these are like, he takes it like before a game and then like physically grows larger, like Hulk style.
Because it's because these kids today have too much pressure to succeed, and they end up feeling that they have no choice to keep up, but to keep up with the competition. I mean, when has that ever not been true? It's funny. And then they burst in on this doctor, right? Mm-hmm. And man, does he give it up fast. They're really like, tell us that you've been making these steroids. And he's like, okay, I'll talk. What?
It's just that classic like nerd versus jock Like he immediately is like ready to hand over his lunch money when he sees Phil Grayfield walking at him.
Yeah, the demands on players and the schools to produce winning programs forced us. NFL is trying to make a statement here. So he goes to take his last dose of steroids, and what the hell?
I love how lumpy they made the character design.
Yeah. It's like cancerous tumors are just like instantly blobbing up in him.
Yeah, he's just a pile of tumors.
Yeah, and so like, and this guy is like the antagonist of this, you know. But like up to this point, they're trying to make him seem like a bad person, but all I see is this poor kid who had all this pressure on him, you know,
that's it.
To get to this point, you know. And of course, he's going to rage out because it just releases all the testosterone at once, and you're screwed. So he turns into this giant monster. Super Pro starts taking him, like trying to take him down. Where is the line? I want to find the line where he talks about.
I wonder which line.
Man, about like not having, like wishing he had different powers, but we may.
Oh yeah, I need to see that. Maybe I kind of glossed over the fight scene, so I must have missed that line.
So here he is saving kids again because, you know, he's a great guy.
He is a great guy. And the kid knows who he is.
Oh,
he says, "Oh wow, go get him, Super Pro." So,
oh yeah,
I don't know. The kid knows.
The kid knows. All right, so he's trying to take this dude down. So he like body slams him here, and then all of a sudden, dude starts foaming at the mouth, and he collapses. And they're like, "I think he's had a heart attack. I can't find a pulse. I'm going to try to administer CPR." Someone call an ambulance. He's not responding. I can't give up on him now. I can't. Hours later, just before game time. Any word on Carl yet? He died 10 minutes ago. They couldn't revive him. We tried to talk him out of it, Ron. He wouldn't listen to us. He was far too gone. Oh, man. This poor guy.
For real. And it is weird. You're right. You're so right. It's really strange that they painted him like the villain of the story when he's really just kind of a sad character.
He's the victim, really.
Yeah.
I know. The question is, how far gone are you? Are the two of you? What?
I don't know what that means.
These two guys, these other guys.
Oh, they have it. They have the drugs on them, but they're not going to use it.
Yeah, and they take their pills out and then they flush it in the restroom. Restroom players only, flush. And then a week later, you see the fallout from it all.
Yeah, and again, they overdid her makeup, and
oh yeah,
on the next page, the very last page, I think the last panel is super interesting because I feel like this came from the NFL. Like there was some old guy who grew up with like some more innocent times Superman comics and thought like, yeah, we'll have Super Pro wink at the reader at the end, like, you'll keep my secret that I'm Super Pro, right? You know, like it's just very
break the fourth wall.
Out of nowhere, he just breaks the fourth wall.
Oh my God, amazing!
It really is amazing.
This Sleepwalker.
See, we have different issues. I don't have that. Mine just goes straight to
straight to the end. Huh? Yep, that's it.
Straight to NFL.
That's it. But man, what a treat, Sam! What a treat.
I'm glad you see it that way.
This was your episode to shine. I know how much you love this character, so I'm actually really glad that we got to talk about him because you know, it's been like a running joke for a long time, and like how deeply you went into. No, I love this character. I'm
so glad you brought it up though at IC3 because like I was genuinely thinking like, oh, like what comic could I talk about intelligently that like really influenced me? And it was like, I really didn't have anything coming to mind that, because like I said, like when I was a kid, I didn't really have access to a ton of comic books. And so any point of reference I have is like pretty basic in terms of comics. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my influences come from other sources. And so like, yeah, but when you said, oh, you got to do Super Pro, it's a no brainer. Like, yeah, you're right. So thank you for that.
Yeah, man. Thank you. All right. So listen, before I let you go, we're about to, on this in real time, talk about your new book, Pariah. Mm-hmm. Where can people find this?
Oh boy, it's a good question. That's etsy.com/shop/Sam J Royale. I always forget the.
I'll put it in the show notes.
No, you know what? I got it on the back here. Yeah, etsy.com/shop/Sam J Royale.
Awesome. All right. I highly recommend you guys go check it out. If you've never seen Sam's work before, it's nuts. It's completely unique. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. Oh, and yeah, you should go pick it up. Also, you are on Instagram at Sam J Royale as well, right? So people can take a look at your works. Mm-hmm. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for being on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
Join my Patreon to see my work before anyone else, plus score physical sketchbooks, mini comics, and commissions delivered right to your door, and reading my new books, Something Seems Off and Three-Headed Pigman, as they are made. Go to my website to order original art, commissions, and my books, Lost Angels, Spectral: A Showcase of Fear, Chaotic Neutral, and more. Gray Matter Drip, The Art of Chris Anderson, is available now from Cosmic Lion Productions. Here are the upcoming conventions I'll be at the time of this recording. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It helps spread the word. Thanks.